Right, job done for Celtic this afternoon. 3 more points, Asim, 4 goals. I'm suited and booted.
Dressed up for the big occasion?
Yeah, dressed up for Rio Hatate's masterclass. What about that? I think we'll chat a wee bit about him.
Yeah, unreal. No better place to start. He's getting better week on week. I thought that was probably one of his best performances. He ran the show right from the off. 2 brilliant goals. And he's deserved man of the match. I think that was one of the easiest man of the match votes all season. But I will talk about him further, but because he was a joy to watch today, wasn't he?
I can't believe they didn't actually give him man of the match when he walked off the park, because I was thinking at that stage they should have done it. We are sheltering from the rain. A wee weather report for you there. It's how minging would you say it is on a scale of 1 to 10?
That's probably up there with that Kilmarnock semi, isn't it? It's horrible. It's horrible, but Celtic certainly brightened their moods today with
I meant to say that. That's what I meant to say.
Leave that to you then.
Right, team-wise, when we got the team through,
Yep.
I think 9 out of 11 for what I predicted on the channel yesterday. Obviously, Moy didn't play. I believe the channel's John McGinley was saying that it was a training ground knock, so he pulled up in training yesterday. I wouldn't say that's anything massively to worry about with next week in mind. I know you maybe think O'Reilly, who came in today, will start next week anyway.
I think we've pretty much got quite a solid, settled lineup, it seems, right now. You know, your back five picks itself. McGregor, Hatate, and then your front three. He's gone with that quite a few times now as well, of Jota, Maeda and Kyogo. Obviously today, deputised really well. Mm-hmm. But that one position, Moyes made it his own recently, but I thought O'Reilly came in and did really well. So obviously if they're both fit, it's a big decision, but one that I think most fans will be happy with either. They're both looking good right now.
And the other change, coming in for Kyogo. I thought O was really good today.
Yeah.
I mean, I tweeted this. I think it's very early days for him, but he looks to me anyway to have what it takes to play for Celtic in terms of the physical presence. He didn't really have any massive chances today, so I think he's the kind of striker who'd probably go off kind of frustrated. Did you notice he kind of went off at the near side when he came off, and he walked and did a whole lap of the pitch almost, and got a kind of standing ovation all the way across, including the main stand. So I thought he deserved that today. We started the game really well. If we start chatting about the game, I thought the way we came out, probably our earliest goal of the season. I can't think of an earlier one.
I think that's second minute, wasn't it?
Something like that. McGregor again. I mean, McGregor's record against Aberdeen, I think Gigpod tweeted saying 3 in the last 6 against Aberdeen. When you consider McGregor doesn't score that many, he seems to love it against Aberdeen.
Yep, and it was a perfect start. I think it's probably the best we started since we've returned in terms of the first 5-10 minutes, the intensity, the tempo, the movement off the ball, and in the latter third as well. And brilliantly taken goal. I don't know if the keeper was maybe at fault, but
came through a ruck of bodies.
Good strike from McGregor. Perfect start, because you came into today's game, obviously Aberdeen haven't been in great form, but won their last game under Barry Robson. They always usually come and make it tough, don't they, here? So for us to get that early goal, it just set the tempo straight away, and I thought, like I say, it was one of our best performances in quite a while, that first half. Yeah,
I mean, people are talking at the moment about the goals we're scoring, and I think, another 4 today. For me, the big thing over the last month, and Ange touched on this a little bit yesterday, is how quickly we win the ball back. See, when we lose the ball, in that first half, I don't know what the possession stats were, maybe someone can look it up, but I would say Celtic had at least, 75% of the possession, certainly in the first half. Yes, we are having issues today with mics and all of that stuff, so we've now got our hands asked, and we're going to just take this off the camera audio, so if we try and speak as loud as we can, hopefully the people can hear us. How are we doing, everyone? You alright? Where were we? Sorry.
Possession stats, you were saying? No, we're just talking about how good we were in that first spell in terms of our intensity, winning the ball back. I think you mentioned Jota, Maeda, they were running back, winning it so high up the pitch. Literally just didn't let Aberdeen get out at all. So I think that would have really impressed Ange, and you just wonder if that's like the benefit now of having the week off. Midweek's off, I think. Yeah, because I think that's as good as we started the game in quite a while in terms of the intensity, the movement, the speed of play. And as I alluded to earlier, I don't think Aberdeen came to sit back, but we just did not let them get out at all. So I was really impressed, and that bodes well going forward.
They were brilliant today, Aberdeen, weren't they? I mean, what a display. I mean, what a team. The fans must be so proud of the way they turned up today, and just played so well, played out for the back, tried to play football, took us up. They were dreadful, weren't they?
They were bad, and you can see why they lost 5 at Hearts.
It's actually a good result for them today.
Because you're thinking after 15 minutes we're 2 up, this could have been another 5, 6, 7. We were looking that good, they were looking that poor.
You can't tweet at 9.
Well. And I think, in the first half we had a few near misses. I think, there's a couple of times ball through across the blocks, and just that final bit where we weren't getting on the end of it. So yeah, it was looking like it could have been a big scoreline. So they'll probably go away like in 4. It's not too bad.
Right, everyone, we've reached a real Hatate point to chat about him. His second goal, or his first of the day, it's just so easy. That's the thing I love about Hatate. He makes things look so easy. Defending's terrible. I mean, it's abysmal. They're all just standing off him. I think it's O passed it to him, or maybe O out to someone else and then into Hatate. But he just kind of sizes the defender up, uses him as a shield, cuts in and curls it into the corner. It's a brilliant goal.
He's just so good with using his body weight to kind of shift without doing much. He just shifts players, and you can see he just created that half yard just by doing that. And he's getting better and better. We spoke about it before, but I just think you can now see the progression he's made from this time last season, where it's more consistency now as well. It's throughout a game. He's coming on and impacting games last week, as we've seen, and rightfully got the standing ovation when he went off, because he's a joy to watch, and he's now putting a claim for Player of the Year as well. We've got a few, but the performances he's putting in, he's one of our better players right now.
What are the big changes you see from last season in him? Because he was good last season, but it feels to me like he's impacting games more. Like last season, he would do great things, like his goals. I mean, the game against Rangers on the 2nd of February is a perfect example. He scored 2 brilliant goals that night, and he had a really good performance. But I feel like he's controlling games more nowadays.
We obviously touched on his fitness. Will have improved obviously the more he's been here. He's not, he's played a lot more games this season. He came in obviously in January last, so he had to pick up the pace of the game. He's still trying things, but I think he's more consistent with his passing as well now. He will try through balls, not all the time will they come off, but he's always looking forward. He's always looking to make things happen. He's getting goals, assists. He's just added an all-round kind of assurance, and you feel like he's one of the leaders in the team now as well in terms of his performance. You know you're getting consistency from him week in, week out. And that midfield area is so strong right now, isn't it? Because McGregor's brilliant again, and I thought O'Reilly was great as well.
Yeah, it really is like a strong kind of unit at the moment. You can say the same about the defence as well. I thought Starfelt had a really good game today. I really, continually impressed with Alistair Johnson at right back. The thing I loved about him, do you remember late on in the game, there was a weird kind of confrontation between Kyogo and the Aberdeen kind of defender, and Johnson was the one who ran like 30 yards, and I'm thinking, I love to see that. Next Sunday there's going to be stuff like that, and I feel in some games against Rangers recently we've lacked that a little bit. I hate to say I sometimes think we're a little bit too nice. It's fine because we're the best team in the country, but in games like next Sunday I think we're going to need that, and I was delighted to see that from Alistair Johnson. CCV was just infuriating. Exactly, CCV was CCV. Maybe one player, Greg Taylor, who didn't quite have the best game. He wasn't bad, but I just thought things weren't quite coming off for him. Aberdeen didn't do anything really. They had a couple of moments that were both kind of our doing. I think Joe Hart had a couple of wee moments. Nothing disastrous. I felt like the one between him and Starfelt. I don't know why Starfelt played a loopy pass, and I don't know why Hart didn't just step back and allow it to come rather than kind of running towards the ball. I suddenly turned into Monday Night Football there, like Andy Gray or something back in the day. But what I'm saying is, I thought it was a really good collective performance. Maybe a little bit kind of frustrating not to get the third goal a bit sooner, because we were 2-0 up after 13 minutes.
We've seen that maybe in the last month happen a few games, haven't we, where we've effectively won the game in the first half, and then the second half maybe kind of fizzles out a wee bit, and just the intensity is not quite there to the same extent. Obviously maybe a bit natural, but the subs usually come on and impact the game, and I thought, Haksabanovic looked okay again when he came on.
He loves Haksabanovic. Any excuse. I do really like him, but I'm glad he was one of the first half an hour.
Yeah, and I think he had a couple of wee efforts and goal. And the thing with our squad right now is everyone's getting a good amount of game time. So when we're bringing subs on, it is usually at the 60-minute mark, so they're getting half an hour to impact the game. But Abada looked lively as well. Just to touch on Johnston, my dad said the same. He thought it was one of his best games. I think with him now, what we're seeing, he's really grown into the role in terms of even how he's impacting it going forward. He had a good couple of near assists as well with cutbacks, so he's really coming on to a game. He's been steady, I feel, but now I'm seeing more even going forward from him.
I love that he walks with his chest like Scott Brown, doesn't he? I love it.
And like you said, he's got that about him, you feel, which is great for games like next week, where you just want everyone just to back each other up and be in for a battle as well, which it will be obviously. There was Greg Taylor, maybe a couple of slack passes I thought in the second half, but nothing to worry about there. And we do have a settled back line now. The only thing with Joe Hart, you just worry, because I remember in the game at Ibrox, sometimes he just invites a bit of pressure on the team unnecessarily.
Needlessly, yeah.
And obviously in games where momentum's big, like
Next
today it was
Sunday.
comfortable, but you've seen last time at Ibrox how it shifted the momentum of a game sometimes. You can't have that, and he needs to be on it right from the off and not allow any mistakes like that.
I feel so awkward today because I'm wearing this and I've suddenly got no. I don't know what to do. What am I doing with my hands here? I stand like that. What do I do?
I've got to do the pocket backwards.
We get the third goal.
Yep.
It's like one of my favourite goals of the season. I'm going to say, everyone. Hatate, that bit of skill.
Yeah.
John was saying to me earlier, it reminded him of like 2016, Graham Shinney getting absolutely bodied by Celtic players. It just happens that it's no longer like Stuart Armstrong doing it, it's now Rio Hatate, but he deserved that. It's a bit of luck for the ball falling to him, but he deserves it because that bit of skill, and then I think it was
even though he follows it up though, positionally he's aware now, he follows it up and he deserved it with a bit of skill, and then the finish is sublime, wasn't it? And he's, how many goals? I think he's got 5 or 6 now since the turn of the year.
He should be scoring more as well. Should be doing that. Not most games, but he should be. He should be chipping in every couple of games with a goal. Why wouldn't he?
And he's got. You can see that he's got a good finish on him. He's got the technical ability. So that's something again that he's taken on another level probably this season. And he'll be hoping to carry that on. We've still got another 13, 14 games probably left for him to add a few more. So no, brilliant, and I think it was nice because, as you said, the game was kind of fizzling out at 2-0, and it was nice for us to just lift it again for that last 5-10 minutes and 2 lovely goals. So yeah, that was good to see.
Fourth goal, Abada,
nice. Haksabanovic again, my favourite player, did really well to win it back, I thought, and then picked him out well, and a nice finish from Abada. So yeah, because he's not really scored much recently, has he? I can't remember the last time. Maybe I've got that wrong, but nice one for him to chip into as well. And 4-0, I think, is a fair reflection of the golf today and the performance.
Any kind of players you're wanting to single out? I feel like I think we have genuinely gone through the entire team. I was watching that game today, and I honestly, Sean, who did the reaction last week in Philly at the Plough Boys, I was listening to his comments, and I really thought he kind of hit the nail on the head when he was saying we don't realise how good a team this is, and I think we do to an extent, because we watch it every week and we realise, but equally, like, this is a top Celtic team we're seeing, and the great thing about them is this isn't a Celtic team that has like reached the top. I think we're going to get better and better. Days like today, Aberdeen, I know they're a poor team, we're in a poor kind of state at the moment, but we could have won that 7-0 today.
You're probably thinking the same most weeks right now, aren't we? Like, we're just so relentless.
That's what I mean, like, we almost take it for granted. Every week we're like, we should win this 3-4-0, but the team do almost every week. It's like,
as you said, the goals we're scoring, we very rarely concede, and even if you just look at the fact, the stats this season, 2 games we've not won.
I know.
That's mad. And as you say, you do almost take it for granted, because there are going to be games where we might eventually drop points, but you just go into every game with such confidence right now. And as you say, we've got another gear to probably go ahead again.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Ange was still, he cuts a frustrated figure at times in the second half. Jota, there was one moment when Jota kind of had the ball, and I think, reading between the lines, he was kind of cutting inside, and I think he had a simple pass on to someone in the midfield, and he kind of chose to cut back onto his right, and Ange kind of went like that, and I'm just thinking, like, that's a guy who just, the standards, no matter the scoreline, no matter, where you are in the league or whatever, he just wants people to keep doing his way, and his way isn't taking the piss maybe like Jota was about to. It's about keep going. Awata. Oh wow. You got half an hour.
He did. Again, steady. The only thing I'd like to see maybe a bit more from him, obviously in games like that, is maybe a bit more progressive passing. Like, I feel he's getting tidy. Moves it along, keeps the ball. But
I think his positioning's good.
Yeah, because he's always demanding it. He's not hiding. He goes in there, he takes the ball. He's always getting it from full backs and centre backs. But when he receives it, I'm just looking maybe sometimes turn face and find a forward pass. A lot of the time he'll go sideways and keep it safe, which is fine. He's probably just finding his feet. But obviously we're quite comfortable today, so I think going forward, if he's going to get half an hour, maybe just put a bit more of his own stamp in the game, which I'm sure he will.
I think he looks much smoother than Ideguchi or Abelgard or McCarthy. I think all 3 of those, you kind of looked at them and they didn't really seem to fit the game plan. I think Awata, his positioning is a big thing for me. He knows where to be in an Ange team, and even more than that, he knows where his teammates are. He's very good at one-touch passes, but I agree there was a few times when it came and he just kind of passed it back. I don't know if we touched on O yet, we maybe briefly did, but I thought it was a good performance from him again. We did touch it all, didn't we?
We did.
I'm struggling today.
It might have been while we were having the mic issues, but no, he was, and yeah, he didn't get a lot of chances, but he just makes himself a nuisance, doesn't he? He's always chasing balls down, and I like how he pins himself against the centre backs quite a bit, because that's not something either of our previous strikers did. I know Giacomakis kind of was used his physique quite well at times, but it wasn't so much as pinning the defender back. And I thought O was doing that quite a few times, so it gives us another added option. And I don't know if that's where Hatate's first goal might have came from, where he just kind of lined it back.
I think he was involved in it anyway.
So yeah, he's looked more than good enough to contribute. And again, he's only 21. More game time, I think he'll get better and better. Yeah. So.
Right, it's getting dark behind us, so we'll round this up. Before we do, next Sunday, we've got Rangers in the cup final. It's a big game.
Yeah, it is, and we can't really ask for much more going into it. I think our form's been great. We're scoring goals. We're looking solid defensively. Everyone seems fit. Obviously, we hope Moy and Turnbull will be available as well. But you're looking at this squad, pretty much everyone firing, and I don't know the last time we had that going into a game against them. There's usually been 1 or 2 injury doubts. So we go into it in the best position we can be. Obviously it's a final, we know what happened last time in the semi, so we can't take anything for granted. We'll probably win as favourites. Yeah. But I just think if we're on it, and if we learn the lessons from last time, and I'm sure Ange will, you'll have gone through that games. Both teams are different as well now. But I think, I'm confident, but at the same time I know it's going to be a tight game.
I mean it's the old thing, but I think if we play like we did today, we're going to be hard to beat, and I think it's not as simple as that, because I think Hampden's always...
The midfield battle's going to be key, and that's where I think we're so strong right now.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, that midfield couldn't be stronger. I mean, Hatate and McGregor are arguably playing the best football they ever have for Celtic, and I think O'Reilly was really good. I thought O'Reilly had a really good game today, so I'm not going to say I'm confident because it's too early for that, but I think if Celtic play like they did today, I know we'll wait and see what the Hampden pitch is like, but that pitch looked a bit better today. And I thought we played well in that. Hampden's always a difficult one. Rangers I think they're a decent side at the moment. They're certainly, their winning record is as good as us. I don't think they're battering teams in the same way we are, but it's I think it's going to be a really, really tough match. But we've got a whole week to preview it. I think you're on Friday as well with Joe Ledley, who scored in our League Cup final for Celtic at Hampden against Rangers. So. Scottish Cup against Hibs and Rangers as well. We lost that day. So, any final thoughts you've got?
No, looking forward to it. Like you said, got a whole week to kind of preview it and build up to it, which it's going to be fun. But fingers crossed, we'll go into that and we'll be celebrating next week as well.
Okay, right. We'll say goodbye. Apologies again. We'll try and sort the mic issues going forward. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear us to some extent. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll be back on Monday.